The Wildcat Sports Club CNY Brewfest is coming up January 31st and February 1st at the New York State Fairgrounds. Taste your way through unlimited samples from more than 100 breweries. Now featuring hard ciders, seltzers, craft cocktails, and mocktails too. Grab your tickets now at cnybrewfest.com.
Your name is right on the top.
Do you like the worst song bracket we're doing?
It's considerably better than the supplement bracket. Let's start with that.
I won a limbo contest.
Oh, my God.
Fran Brown joining us.
These guys are working their butts off. They expect to see that fame.
You want extra money just because you're North Carolina? I'm in all right
What
now.
an honor for you and Jordan to be next to me
every
daily.
day.
This is Orange Nation.
There's music, there's fun, there's us. It's everything you could want all in one place.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Paulie Sibilia. I'm Stephen Fonte as we welcome you into a Monday edition of Orange Nation. We've got Kyle Cuffe coming your way at 12:15, Mike McAllister, 12:30. Plus, we'll mix in your phone calls throughout at 315-437-7644. Welcome back, Paulie. How are you today?
I'm great, Steve. You're welcome for Kyle Cuffe.
Yep. Well done. Good get.
It's my New Year's gift to everybody. He needs to get his props.
He played great.
You know, because Eric led their show off. For those of you that don't know, Eric and Atan do a show now from 11:30 to 12 with the state of basketball and how he's getting old and kids aren't working hard. Kyle Cuffe is the complete opposite of that, right? He's kind of got an Alan Griffin thing going, right? Griff could have easily gotten discouraged during his playing days, and he didn't. And Kyle Cuffe is just ready to go when he's needed.
He is. And I think, going into the offseason, we talked, last year after, March and into April, who would be back, who might move on. And I think we looked at him and we said, well, I don't know how much he'll play next year. And then at the beginning of the season, we said, we don't know how much he'll play. And then it tends to work out for guys who work hard. And I think that Kyle Cuffe is a perfect example. JJ comes back. He sees his minutes dip in the two games, since JJ's return. And then in a game over the weekend in which they needed a spark, he provided a spark. And he was a big reason why they won that game.
Right. And it's interesting just to be in that position now. You can leave whenever you want.
Yeah.
And a guy like Kyle Cuffe has to make a decision. Now, this is interesting. A guy like Kyle Cuffe is probably going to have to go down a bit, right? If he leaves Syracuse now, right? He's probably going to end up at an A-10 school or
potentially.
Yeah. He's not going to be at, everybody wants Syracuse to be back at that level where they were back in the day. Like Syracuse is a brand of basketball that's a level above most, so
sure.
You've got to, and maybe that weighs on a kid that's not making a lot in NIL, right?
It could. I mean,
because you're not getting NIL if you drop to one of the, if you're
certainly
going
not
to play,
getting a lot.
Yeah, right.
Certainly not getting a lot. I mean, you don't see kids. I feel like that's the exception to the rule. The rule now is if I don't play a lot, I'm leaving. If things don't go my way, I'm leaving. Or if I can make more NIL somewhere else, I'm leaving. The exception seems to be a kid like Kyle Cuffe that it looked like he might be the odd man out in terms of getting playing time. He came back anyway. He's worked hard, and he's put himself in a position that, you're right, when called upon. I literally said this on the TV show, our Orange Nation TV show last week. We were talking about Kyle Cuffe, and I literally said, we don't know how much he's going to play moving forward, but he seems to always be ready when his number is called. And then what happens next time he goes out there? His number was called. He was ready. He scored 10 points. And again, JJ was the headliner from Saturday. Kyle Cuffe was right behind, though, in terms of the heroes in that game.
Look, and what he did offensively is fine. What doesn't go out there is he was locked down defensively when he was in. The guy he was on did not score, and that's a huge part of the game.
Yeah, it is. It's both ends, and you want two-way players, and that's been some of the issues with this team this year, and we've talked about this a lot over the course of the last month or so, that you've got guys who maybe are really good on the offensive end, not so much on the defensive end, and vice versa. Guys that you feel like you can count on defensively, but they don't give you a lot of scoring punch. You need two-way players, and Kyle Cuffe, not a great three-point shooter, but he does provide energy. He can get to the basket.
He hits big shots.
He hits some big shots, and I say he's not a three-point shooter. Two of his biggest shots were both threes in that game at Boston College. And again, finished with 10 points. You know you can count him on defense. You know he's going to play hard. You know he's going to get on the floor. And he's done that. And he earned himself, he played half the game. And it's a good thing he did because they needed him. They were in a little bit of trouble there in the second half.
Right. And it's interesting to see how this is going to play out. And Pat from Syracuse, of course, comes in with his first negative shot. And Carlos isn't either of those things. Why is that necessary right now? Like, Carlos has been fine. He hasn't been great. Do you think the coaches didn't notice that? The plan was to get him out before JJ got hurt. Like, are you not watching this team? He played when JJ was hurt, and he's played less since JJ's back. I don't get that. They're coming off 2 wins. I don't know. I just got to ignore that, right?
Yes.
I'm not good at it.
No, you're not. That's okay. You're engaged. Engagement is good. Yeah, I mean, we've seen his minutes obviously go down drastically. So, you look at his minutes prior to JJ getting hurt. He played 21 minutes against Texas, played 27 against Texas Tech, played 19 against Cornell. And then JJ gets hurt, and then he goes 37, 36, 37, 39, 40, 40, 33. That was because they needed somebody to handle the ball.
Also, look, Cuffe played great last game, guys. Yeah. That's fine. He has been bad with the ball at points this season also. Yeah,
I mean, Juan Carlos is obviously the guy that with JJ out, they trusted him to handle the ball, and his numbers had been pretty good of late, but JJ comes back, you put the ball in JJ's hands, he becomes your starting point guard, and then Carlos's numbers have gone down 19 minutes, 10 and then 5.
Cuffe isn't on the ball right now, guys.
Right.
JJ's got ball handler.
Yes.
Am I not seeing that correctly?
You are seeing it 100% correctly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ball is in JJ's hands, and good things happen when the ball's in JJ's hands. Man, he's good. I know we started by talking about Cuffe, but I'll go back to when you and I were talking about it. If JJ's out there, they probably win a couple more games than they lost, and I stand by that. Like the Georgetown game at Notre Dame, I think they absolutely win both of those games with JJ out there. He can do whatever he wants. Like, he can get to the basket anytime. Now, we saw against Florida State, he was a little rusty. He missed some of those shots, but he can create for himself.
Look,
and he was phenomenal down the stretch of that game.
He was. They've done it against Georgia Tech and BC.
No, I know.
That's good.
But Georgetown and Notre Dame are on that same level.
Yeah. Let me just say, that's good. If they go out and they beat Louisville, everybody can take a deep breath, right? It's like, okay, I think they figured it out. It didn't come as quick as we wanted it to. The season probably isn't going to end the way we wanted it to, but they figured it out, And that's with JJ being hurt, and now probably your second best player is hurt, and they're still getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more work to be done, and these 2 games, as you said, it's just Georgia Tech, it's just BC, but you got to start somewhere, and it is a step in the right direction, and having Starling back on the floor makes a huge difference for this team. I know people, said, oh, it's an excuse that he's out, and why does it look this bad, and they were struggling even when he was out there. It collectively took a little bit for everybody to figure out their roles, and having JJ back makes a big difference. And I think when Donnie comes back, now you'll finally get to see this team whole for the first time. Again, you can make a case they haven't been truly whole for the whole season, right, the way that the thing started with Westry being sick and Lampkin being banged up. But to get JJ and to get Donnie Freeman back and to be whole for the first time in a really long time, it'll be interesting to see how this team looks against the better teams in this conference.
Louisville, Govendo says Louisville is going to be a tough game. They're back. Look where they were last year, too. Yeah, they also have an NIL that is a lot bigger than most schools.
Yeah.
So they can do that, I've heard that what's his face? Anslam is making more than most Syracuse players are getting, and he's playing 2 minutes a game right now for Louisville. So it's going to be interesting to see. But the portal gives you that opportunity to fix things quickly. Then you know what? This team's got to fix things quickly here. If before we can start thinking about next year. And the other thing is, there's ebbs and flows to every season. Cuffe is playing great. Carlos has played steadily at points and not great at other points. Lucas Taylor, our chat was full of why is he playing?
Yeah.
He's been very steady lately.
Yeah, he's starting to make some shots. He's starting to make some threes, which it's hard to keep him off the floor because we know he's a pretty good defender. And then if he's able to, what's SU's? Well, I was going to say what's their biggest issue. I don't know if it's necessarily the biggest issue. They've got a bunch of them, but it's one of their issues is their consistency shooting the ball from 3-point range, and he's been able to do that of late and providing them a little bit of spark in that area. Turnovers is another thing that we've seen that the last. Half dozen games, turnovers have been an issue. They did a better job in this last game against BC, but they've got some things to figure out. Lucas Taylor has been one of those guys knocking down shots. Hard to keep him off the floor if he's making shots and he's defending.
And he's one of the guys playing defense,
right.
And I don't know what you do with Chris Bell. You got to put him out there, but man, that was as ugly of a game as I've seen from him.
Yeah, I mean...
And you know what? One more thought on that. Kyle Cuffe is the guy that, I don't know if this translates to television, is the guy with his arm around Chris Bell when they're walking back at halftime, when they're in the huddle, and telling him, we need you. That's the kind of Kyle is.
He does seem like he's a really good teammate, Kyle Cuffe. He's got to be. He seems like he gets it. He works hard. He plays hard when he's out there, and he roots for his teammates when he's not out there.
Yeah,
that's the kind of guy you want on your team. Louisville, by the way, they've won 6 in a row, so
that's pretty good.
This is going to be a tough one, and those wins include they beat North Carolina, they beat Clemson, they won at Pittsburgh in this latest game. So this is a pretty good team that they're going to see.
Kevin from Liverpool says you don't have to put Bell on the floor. Yeah, you do, man, and he's got to take shots. And you hope he makes them. He's got to take shots, though. He passed it. Last game against BC, he passed up. They weren't great threes, but they were open threes.
Yeah.
And he's got to take those. It sounds crazy to say, but him taking shots and missing them gives JJ more room.
It's kind of like this. You've got a few guys there, like Elijah Moore's in the mix of these guys, Chris Bell, Kyle Cuffe. I think all three of them are kind of in the same boat. Who's going to give me the most tonight? That kind of thing. You kind of know what you're getting out of Kyle Cuffe. You're going to get that energy, but is Elijah Moore going to work hard on defense? Is Bell going to make some shots on offense? And it's kind of like, all right, you got to put somebody out there first. And so it's been Elijah Moore going out there first. But if he doesn't produce, what does Bell give you? If he doesn't produce, Kyle Cuffe comes in, and Kyle Cuffe did produce against BC.
And it goes to the people don't think this is a real thing, and we were making excuses for Chris Bell during his tough stretch, that Chris Bell moved to the top of the...
Sure.
When JJ was going to the rim, nobody was guarding Kyle Cuffe. Nobody. He knocked down the shots, but those were wide open shots. Right. If he keeps hitting those...
People are going to guard.
He's not going to get them.
Yeah.
Right? But, it happens. You just watch the game, and you see things like that.
Sure.
All right. Let's talk to Kyle next.
Let's do that. Kyle Cuffe joins us on the other side. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
Sorry, guys. Syracuse's NIL can't compete with Louisville, and I don't know if they ever will. Bowling ball. There's schools that Syracuse is never going to compete with. Louisville, Florida State, Miami, SMU. Voicemail. Oh. Keep trying. Make it ring. Text Pete or call Pete and tell him we're not getting through to him. Right. If SMU is offering $1.2 million to a center, Syracuse is in a lot of trouble. That's the most sensible thing I think I've ever seen in the chat, Genby. Yeah. He's not. Call Pete though and tell him he's not answering. I can text Pete if you want. Welcome back to Orange Nation. Our artist of the day is just going to be our original bumps because I didn't know what's going on. I'm very behind today.
That's okay.
So this is a great jam. Guy,
It
right?
is. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to the man of the hour. A guy who probably has no idea who Guy is.
Probably before his time.
Guy is actually more than one person.
That's right. Pleased to be joined by Kyle Cuffe, coming off a great game, 10 points against Boston College over the weekend in a 79-71 win. Kyle, thanks so much for the time today. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
All right, so I guess let's start with Saturday's game. You guys were in a little bit of trouble there in the second half in a dogfight at Boston College, and then you guys were able to pull it out. You had a big hand in that. You and J.J. Starling leading the way in that victory. Take us through that second half and what allows you guys to pull out the win.
I feel like we just connected. Like, we realized what was at stake. We want to make the postseason, and we know that with a lot of teams in the ACC, we got to beat as much teams as we can because the last, I think, 3-4 teams in the ACC won't make the postseason as far as the ACC tournament. So we just want to get there. We want to show Cuse that we're actually a good team. Yeah, we started off slow, but we're going to pick this up.
Let's talk about your game, if we could, a little bit. I mean, you look at the last, 6 games. You've been in double figures 4 of those times. And the other game, you had 9 against Bucknell. Did not score in only 4 minutes against Georgia Tech. But you've really come on strong these last half dozen games or so. What's been working for your game in particular?
I would say just staying ready, just being locked in, knowing what it is, like what's going on when I'm on the bench, just watching the game. Like, I get a different feel from everybody when they start. Like, people who are on the court at first, they're not necessarily getting that full view of what's going on in the game, the pace, how the refs are calling the game. I guess I get a little upper hand in that.
Paulie and I were talking about that. You do seem like a guy who is locked in and always ready when your number is called. How do you stay locked in? Your minutes have fluctuated, and JJ came back, and you only played 4 minutes against Georgia Tech. How do you stay ready and mentally sharp to go out and play 17 minutes against Boston College? And again, if you're not out there, you may not win that game on Saturday. You were a big difference maker against BC. So how do you keep yourself mentally ready?
I just trust in God. I talk to God every day, just saying in his timing, allow me to just show everybody what I'm made of, allow me to help my team in any way possible. And whether that's, again, 1 minute, 4 minutes, or however many minutes I play, just showing that I can be there for my teammates. That's the most important thing, I feel like.
You say that about being there for your teammates. How is it as a guy on the bench? It's got to be tough because you want the guy who's taking your minutes to do well, but you're on the bench and you're not going to get in if they're doing well.
I don't necessarily look at it like that. Like, I feel like when my teammates are doing well, I'm doing well. Like, we are a reflection of each other the same way we are a reflection of Coach Red and the coaching staff. So I feel like like I don't necessarily look at it like that. I feel like when one person wins, we all win, and I feel like as we keep winning, the pie is big enough for everybody.
You know, you just brought up your coach. What is it like as a player playing for Coach Autry?
Playing for Coach Autry is amazing. He pushes us. He makes us critically think about everything going on, whether it's on the court and off the court, because essentially the way you act off the court is the way you're going to be on the court, and that's just a life lesson that he is instilled in us, and just being like, yo, you got to live right.
You know, and did that lead to your decision at all to come back? Because, you know, we see so often, you know, this day and age with college athletics that if a guy's not starting or they feel like they could play more somewhere else, that they, you know, I'm going to leave. And you obviously, you know, there was nothing promised for you to come back this year. What was it about this program, Coach Red, the school, whatever the case may be? Did you think at all about leaving, or, you know, what led you to come back to Syracuse this season?
No, yeah, I definitely did not think about leaving. Like, Syracuse is home. Like, I love being here. I love my teammates. I love the coaching staff. Basically, we really didn't have a bad season last year. Yeah, we didn't make the postseason, but if we picked it up little games here, little games there, like, we would have been in the postseason. So I just believed in Coach Red. I believed in the staff, and I believed in my teammates coming in that we could actually push through and get those extra steps and get to the next level.
You know, you guys have obviously suffered through a little bit of adversity this year, some bad luck with the injuries with JJ, and obviously Chance's illness, and, you know, Donnie Freeman's out right now. Did you guys learn anything about yourselves or about the team while JJ was out, so that, you know, now he's come back? It seems like you guys are starting to play better basketball. You've won 2 in a row. You've found some momentum. Did you learn anything, I guess, about this group or about your individual roles while JJ was out that's helped you now that he's back?
I feel like we learned that we can't just leave it up to JJ all the time, that we need to help him. But also I think what helped us most, for real, is not just as a team. JJ being out on the sidelines really, it allowed him to see the game through a different lens. Like, he allowed him to become a more vocal leader, allowed him to be he knew he had to be that killer that we needed him to be. And we were gonna back him up no matter what. So that allowed us to take the next step, because when you have a great leader like him, a great player like him, everybody's gonna fall in line. And then when you have different pieces that bring energy, different pieces that are just more vocal, more into it, everything falls in line.
You know, you're 8-8 right now, 2-3 in conference play after back-to-back wins. Where is, I guess, the mental state of this team right now? You know, I know that the first, you know, non-conference didn't go the way that you guys wanted it to. Where are you guys mentally with, you know, the bulk of ACC play left to go?
I think we're pretty excited about what's to come. I feel like our confidence level is high right now, and I don't think it doesn't matter. A loss in the ACC is a tough conference. Like, everybody in the ACC is going to lose again. Like, but we know that we're going to keep pushing, and we're going to make strides to win as many games as we can. And I feel like we can do that.
What was it like watching JJ last game? You just going downhill and getting to the rim.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing to watch that. Just his ability to play on the ball, and his ability just to have all of us allow him to get some energy and play off the ball too. Like, he needed that last-minute spurt of energy where it was either me bringing up the ball or Lucas Taylor bringing up the ball, just allowed JJ to get that energy and allow him to go downhill, make tough shots that we needed to in the crunch time. Like, it was beautiful.
All right, you've got Louisville coming in here tomorrow. This is a team that they've won 6 in a row. You mentioned it's a tough conference. I mean, Louisville's 5-1 right now, and they look like a completely different team from last season. What can you tell us about the Cardinals? And, you know, as you're getting ready for this opponent, what stands out to you?
Louisville's a great team. They got a lot of experienced players. Players come from all over the place. I feel like it's going to be a good game, and like, everybody who comes to that game is gonna know that we're not gonna back down without a fight. We're gonna keep pushing. We're gonna keep working, and I feel really confident in us coming out this Tuesday.
All right, it is. I tell you what, I love your attitude. It's refreshing to hear. You know, just a team first type of guy. Keep up the good work. Keep playing hard, and we appreciate you giving us a few minutes today. Best of luck tomorrow night.
Thank you. Have a good one, you guys.
All right, you as well. Kyle Cuffe joining us here on the show.
My fandom of Kyle Cuffe has grown just after speaking.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he seems like a good teammate who does all the right things.
Right.
You know, I would imagine he's enjoyable to coach, enjoyable to play with, and Syracuse is lucky to have
you know
him.
what else it does to me? Like, I'm blessed. I get to go to every game for free. But like, if you're the guy that's like, I don't want to go watch these guys play because I don't like the way the coach is, you're an ass. Like,
That's one way to put it.
How do you not go out and root for that guy?
I know, right? He does. He's got his priorities straight. He does seem like a team first guy. All right, we're gonna hit a timeout here. We've got another team first guy coming on after the break. Mike McAllister joins us next on ESPN Radio.
I don't know if Minnesota Dan's the one that hooked us up with the tickets to the Boston game, if that's the same guy, but thank you, Minnesota Dan, if that was you. I know it was somebody from Minnesota. That was fun. Oh, my God. You want to talk about disgusting? I could not watch the Celtics game. Kristaps Porzingis and Jason Tatum both had their jerseys untucked. What a bunch of slobs. That Jason Tatum with his jersey untucked was unacceptable. I walked out. I left the game. Couldn't take it. I was sending Steve and Jordan pictures of them with their jerseys untucked during the game. That's how much you a-holes live in my brain when I'm not when I'm trying to have fun and enjoy myself. You saw my pictures I sent to Jordan and Steve? No, you didn't. Are you in my text group with them? Dude, the Celtics game was crazy because it was like a college atmosphere. The way they do the game, it was fun. It was sold out.
Celtics?
Yeah,
College atmosphere?
yeah, it was fun. Why was I went to a game. I'm allowed to go and have fun every once in a while. It's only the second time I've been to a NBA game. And they both at Boston. Am I not allowed to have free time? Yes, he's out according to Twitter.
What?
Mike McCarthy. Guy almost hit a full court putt, leading to one of Eric Devendorf's funniest moments on radio. And I'm not going to tell you what it was. I don't know. Matt bought me dinner. I paid for the Uber, but the chicken tenders were like $20 for 5 tenders and fries.
At the game?
Yeah. Yeah, the fact, like, the way that the Steelers played down the stretch, everybody's like, if you think that's fire Tomlin, the fact that he got that freaking turd of a team to the playoffs is kind of amazing. That basically was buying me a steak. No, we had really good seats, though. We were mid-court.
How much does it cost to sit courtside at an NBA game?
I have no idea.
Because one of Kim's friends posted a picture courtside at the Magic game.
It's got to be expensive.
Right?
Although Magic might be cheap because there's like nobody goes to them, right? Does anybody care?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I bet you.
She asked me. She was like, "How much do you?" It was her friend and her 2 daughters. So there's 3 of them courtside, and I was like, I have no idea, but that's got to be. I guessed $1,000 for the 3 tickets, but I don't know. I was just throwing a number out there.
Courtside tickets to the larger Magic games can cost between $200 and $300.
Yeah, right. So you're talking almost $1,000. Wow.
That's cheaper than I've paid more for Padres seats. Yeah, I'm very rich. I don't know if you know this, but I paid more for Padres seats. Thank you.
Thank you. No further questions.
It's City Field. And, yeah. Yes, Mike McCarthy's out.
Should we start football? Ask her about Deuce coming back, or do you want to go back to football last?
Yeah. Congratulations, CJC. Here we go. What's our song? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We're doing the original Orange Nation bumps, old school.
The OG.
Big Daddy Kane. Oh, nobody can hear him? Now you can.
All right. With that,
R-A-W.
Let's go back to our guest lines. We welcome in Mike McAllister. It's a Monday, so it's a McAllister Monday. And a lot to get to, Mike, both football and basketball.
No longer McCord Mondays.
That's true. That's true. But let's start with football, and let's start with the return of Deuce Chestnut. Does this surprise you that he's coming back?
Not at all. I would have been surprised if he had left. I mean, he did that once before. Didn't work out that well. We know that he thinks very highly of Coach Fran, and he's a New Jersey guy, and it just makes sense, right? He's starting. He's playing a lot. He's going to be. I think he's going to kind of step into a leadership role that, you know, the Marlo Waxes and Justin Barons and Elijah Clark's had this past year. So I'm sure his conversations with Coach Fran was probably along those lines. And let's face it, of the two places he's been, Syracuse, LSU, and then back to Syracuse, he's been significantly more successful and impactful on the field at Syracuse than what he was at LSU. And just seems like kind of from the way that he acts when he's playing that he's much happier here as well. So sometimes, you know, the grass isn't always greener, and he has tangible evidence of that in his own experience.
We saw Savion Washington on social media today announce that he's entering the NFL draft. So help me out here with him, because he was at Kent State for a couple of years. My understanding is he had 1 year of eligibility remaining. Was this a case where he could have come back and is electing to go pro, or was he out of eligibility from what you understand?
My understanding was he was out of eligibility. We have a scholarship tracker that I update on CuseNation.com, and so when I was putting that together, I reached out to a couple of sources and just said, hey, is there any chance that he comes back? Does he have eligibility left? And I guess there's something with his bio at Kent State that wasn't I guess completely accurate or something. But either way, he fulfilled his eligibility, is my understanding. So his announcement that he's going pro was more so just, hey, I'm going to the draft. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. And what else do we need to know from a football perspective? I know a question that I keep getting with Calvin McCord moving on is, is Ricky Collins the guy, or are they still looking at the quarterback position? So I will ask you that. Is Ricky Collins the guy, or are they still looking elsewhere at the quarterback position?
I don't expect that they're looking elsewhere in the quarterback position as far as the portal goes.
Okay.
But I think even though, you could make the argument that perhaps Ricky Collins has the highest ceiling, I don't think it's something that I would say, yep, it's definitely his, and I'm not even going to consider other options. I think there's the possibility that someone like Jakari Williams, who's been in the program, for a year under Fran Brown, that he could have a fantastic spring and take the job potentially between that and training camp. And with a true freshman like Luke Carney, listen, I know turning the reins over to a true freshman isn't the most ideal situation in the world, but he's very talented. I know the coaching staff really thinks highly of what his ability is. And if he performs well, learns the playbook, and sort of minimizes that freshman learning curve during the spring, then could he make some waves during training camp this fall and push to earn that job? I don't think it's as simple as, yep, it's definitely Ricky's. I think it's going to be a healthy competition, and one that I'm looking forward to watching. It's
our first chance to talk to you since Cal McCord made his announcement on Friday, and from what I was able to gather, and I know you've been reporting on it as well, Syracuse had yet to hear back on the waiver. So to me, this sounds like he got positive feedback from the NFL, and he felt like, whether he could come back to school or not, his decision was to go pro. I mean, where do you ultimately think, and I don't mean a team necessarily, but where in the draft do you see Kyle McCord landing?
I think think it's entirely possible that he could go as high as the third round. I mean, he strikes me as one of these guys that, you go through the draft process and the interviews and whatever that could come across as very impressive as a leader, as someone who's knowledgeable with his IQ and things like that. And I think also with the fact that he's battled adversity with what he went through at Ohio State. Now, basically, he was cast aside by them and sort of vilified by the fan base because he lost one game. And he turned that around, worked hard, and bounced back from it and had the best year of his career. And you can make the argument he's still developing as a quarterback. And so he hasn't reached his ceiling yet. And despite that, he was, in the discussion for being the best quarterback in the country this past season. I think he's got an argument there, and all it takes is one team to fall in love with him. So I would guess somewhere in the third to fifth round is kind of the range I'm looking at. But wouldn't surprise me if, someone fell in love with him because of some of those intangibles and took him in the third round. That said, I'll just make one more comment on this. The fact that it takes the NCAA as long as it does to make these decisions is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it should not. If you make the initial decision that you're denying the waiver and then Syracuse appeals it, how much more new information can there be that it takes this long, weeks and weeks and weeks, before you actually make a final decision? Like, they just continue to hold players and programs hostage with the way that they handle these things and how long it takes them to make decisions.
Do you think he was going to get it?
I've gone back and forth. My initial gut reaction when I heard kind of all the rumblings and everything else was no, simply because with the NCAA, unless there's some new information, an appeal of their initial decision is heard by the people that made the initial decision, and so they're not going to say, oh, yeah, you know what, I did make a bad decision a couple weeks ago. That's generally not going to happen, and the NCAA doesn't like to admit fault on basically anything. But where I thought they had a case was the fact that they're considering this fifth-year rule. And since that's been brought up as a discussion and they've considered it, that if they argued, listen, you're already considering giving players a fifth year. If you don't give me a fifth year and then a couple months later say we're now going to give people a fifth year, I can sue you for loss of NIL revenue that I would have had I been given this opportunity. And I don't think the NCAA wants to deal with lawsuits because every time they do, they lose. So that's kind of where I thought that maybe there was some hope that it would ultimately be granted. But I still lean towards probably not.
Yeah. All right. Let's switch to basketball. And, lo and behold, this team's won 2 games in a row. And I know it's just Georgia Tech and BC. But what have they found, other than JJ's back and he's a really good basketball player, what have they found that has led to a couple of wins in a row here?
Well, I think JJ is the biggest thing, but also, at least in the game against Boston College, they took much better care of the basketball, and that certainly helps. That helps in a couple of ways. It makes your offense more efficient, but then also prevents the other team from having a lot of transition and easy basket opportunities. And I know that Coach Autry has said, harped on their transition defense a lot of times this season. The best way to not have to worry about your transition defense is to not put yourself in position to have to defend the opponent's transition. And you do that by taking care of the basketball. So that was a good thing against Boston College. And then they kind of did some things that they didn't in some of their other close games. You think of the Georgetown game or the Notre Dame game or even Texas Tech, in that they made big shots, made free throws, and got stops. And it sounds very simplistic, but ultimately that's really what it is. And I think you need to give this team a lot of credit because given all the narratives that was around them, all the negativity around the way the season had gone up until the last 2 games, would have been very easy to kind of check out, right? And they haven't done that. And I think that tells you something about the coaching staff. As much as people want to get on the coaching staff for the way the season has gone, I think you need to give them credit for continuing to fight, continuing to try things, and for the team continuing to go out there and play with pride and get a couple of wins. Because like I said, the easy solution would have been to check out and just have things completely unravel and then, kind of is what it is at that point.
As we're talking here, one of our loyal listeners in the chat says, if Syracuse wins tomorrow, can fans start to get excited? And I kind of had that question on my mind as well. Like it was just BC and just Georgia Tech. Louisville's a good team, though. Louisville's one of the better teams in the ACC. if Syracuse were to win tomorrow, what would that kind of mean for the season, for the fan base, for this team? How important is this game?
I think it's important because, listen, a lot of the fan base, I think there's at least a portion of it that is checked out to some extent. I know I have friends that don't make it appointment viewing to make sure they're watching the Syracuse basketball game anymore, and that's unfortunate. But you win a game like this, you've now won 3 in a row, and you've beaten one of the upper echelon teams in the conference. I think that changes because it takes away this narrative of, well, they're just beating bad teams. They're not really very good. You know, they might not even make the ACC tournament. Those kind of narratives go to, well, maybe this team actually has something here. And now you start to look back on the games against Georgetown and Notre Dame and Wake Forest that they didn't have JJ, that were really close down to the wire games. It feels like if they had JJ for those games, they might have 3 more wins. And instead of sitting at, 8-8, they're sitting at 11-5. Then you beat Louisville, you're sitting at 12-5. I think that completely changes what people think about this team. So I think it's extremely important. I don't know that means that there's going to be a turnaround towards the NCAA tournament or anything like that, but it can certainly at least make you feel like the team is going to be respectable, and maybe it'll get some more people going back to the Dome for the rest of the year.
I'm glad you brought that up because I got a lot of pushback when I said that Syracuse, in my mind, absolutely beats Georgetown and Notre Dame at the very least, maybe Wake, but those two in particular, if JJ's out there, and I got a lot of pushback for saying that. But I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that if he plays,
none in mind.
There's at least 2 extra wins. Paulie, go ahead.
Guys, if they beat Louisville and then Notre Dame, that makes that Clemson game like a legitimate big game for Syracuse. Right? Sure. Like everybody's written this team off, but you win the next 2 games, you're okay. You're not in great position, but you're okay. There's you can see the light again.
Yeah. No, it's an important
And the one thing I'll say is, despite everything that's happened, sitting at 8-8, whatever, they still control their own destiny, because if they don't lose again, they'll be in the tournament. I mean, at the end of the
not
day,
asking a lot, but
it's right. Go ahead and go undefeated in the rest of your schedule, including beating Duke and North Carolina. And obviously that is a monumental task. But reality is they control their own destiny. So even though they've been written off, and I understand why and all that, and nobody enjoyed them being at 6-8. You start to put a few wins together, and all of a sudden that completely changes how everyone's talking about you.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be really interesting to see when Donnie Freeman comes back what this team looks like healthy, and how they compete against the upper echelon teams in this conference. And we haven't seen that to this point because they haven't been whole for more than a month. Any final thoughts, Mike? Anything we didn't touch on that you're dying to get across about either football or basketball?
Just one more thing. Syracuse football did get a couple commitments over the last few days. They got a wide receiver from Delaware named B.J. Garrett, who had a bunch of power conference offers from Big Ten, ACC, et cetera. And then they got an offensive lineman last night named JoJo White, who decided to commit in the middle of the Eagles playoff game, which I really appreciated that timing. But he's someone who over the summer came to Syracuse big man camp. They offered him as a result of his performance. And he's committed now before, he kind of goes through this off season where I think the expectation is he would get a bunch more power conference offers. So Syracuse already with 6 commitments in the class of 2026 is tied for 7th most in the nation, and they're off to a good start in that recruiting class. Currently ranked 18th in the country for their 2026 recruiting class.
Not too shabby. Mike, great stuff as always. Appreciate you coming on. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Mike McAllister, our guest on the show.
Steve, I said going into this year, I was sick of bubble talk. I would do anything.
Now you're dying for bubble talk. Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, well, win a few more games in a row, and we might at least be able to talk about that again. I think right now it's completely off the table.
But it is. But you got I'm looking at this schedule. I'm like,
you're talking yourself into it.
Yeah, I'm like, you beat Louisville and Notre Dame. You got a quad 1 on the road, then Pittsburgh's good. Beat them. Let's go. We're on the bubble, yeah.
Just keep winning
it's easy.
games. Yeah. Just win the next one. And that's why I was talking with some family over the weekend. We were talking about this team. And I was like, listen, all they can do is just win the next game on their schedule. And I know it was just Georgia Tech and BC, but you got to start somewhere.
And it's clearly at least Kyle Cuff's mentality on this team that they're going to make the postseason because he said, we got to make the postseason, so we got to win these games.
Loved his attitude, by the way. Yeah. I know we both said that, but, man, he seems like a team-first guy. All right, phone lines open the rest of the way now, 315-437-7644.
That's right, Steve. I don't know how we're doing it, but it's a Monday.
It is Monday.
It is a Monday. I don't know why do I always have struggle. It's a subscriber Monday.
There you go.
It's a manic Monday.
Horticulture.
Yes, it's a manic Monday. $25 gift card and tickets to the Louisville game could be yours if you subscribe to Q Sports Talk at qsportstalk.com. They put you in a randomizer and draw a name, and you get a $25 gift card that you have to go to the Coach Autry show and watch the show. Have a nice bowl of pasta, pork chops, Marcella, Coach Boeheim's favorite. Coach Autry likes the
he liked the
sausage.
pork chops or the chicken?
Pork chops.
Oh, I thought it was chicken Marcella.
No.
No. Okay.
Come on. Fake news. That's how rumors get started, Steve.
I didn't know pork chop Marsala was a thing.
Oh, it's delicious. You don't come out here with your blasphemy and lie about Coach. Coach Boeheim's probably going to call in now and be like, if you want to know what I eat, you ask me. You don't just make it up.
I'd never heard that before.
I get it now because it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, Coach Autry likes the sausage and lentil soup.
Okay.
If you want to know what ACC coaches eat, you just call me, and I'll help you out. You don't make stuff up on the air. But it's a Subscriber Monday. We'll give you a chance to try either one of those beautiful plates at Carrabba's.
All right.
Next on ESPN Radio Syracuse at qsportstalk.com. He can actually eat a pork chop without hurting himself. Andy's in his 80s, which is impressive.
He's not 80, is he?
Yes.
I thought he was late 70s. Is he 80?
It's got to be by now. He was in his 70s when he was coaching.
He just turned 80. Yeah. All right. I thought he was 79. T-Takes, I don't know if I'm going to the Bills game. My son was at the game yesterday, and I had a chance to go. A neighbor of mine was selling their tickets, but we were just in Disney last weekend, and we thought, like, let's give ourselves a weekend to relax. And so we did not go. But I don't know about this one.
Time to relax. It wasn't like we couldn't afford it. I got to save you money. Did you figure it out how to get your money, or do I need to?
I do. I did figure it out.
Okay.
I did.
So I will send it. I didn't want to send it to you and have it just sit in your account for free.
No, I do know. I do know how.
Where's Venmo?
Okay, guys, you ready? Hit the buzzer when you have the answer. The question is, which item is popular again? VHS tapes, Beanie Babies, or 90s baseball cards? Yes, Brian.
Well, Paulie's got all of them. I know he's going to say 90s baseball cards, so I'll go with that.
No.
Is that you?
What, Brian? I think it's VHS tapes, and I've got quite the collection at home.
This guy.
Founding Contacts. That would be you.
No.
I'll make popcorn. The answer is VHS tapes. Some of them are actually worth hundreds of dollars. Your best guess is brought to you by Pawn Pro, Erie Boulevard in Syracuse, where you can buy, sell, or trade. At Pawn Pro, they'll tell you what it's worth, so you don't have to guess. Find them online at pawnpro.com.
Either you got it or Stephen Fonte and Ghana got it.
That's right. Deliveries over $100 are absolutely free. Ordering couldn't be easier. Visit us at flintstone.com and click shop, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook for our digital menu. Start your journey today at Flintstone in downtown Syracuse and delivered right to your home. Flintstone delivers our full range of premium products right to your doorstep anywhere in CNY 7 days a week during store hours. For use only by adults 21 years of age and older. Keep out of reach of children and pets. In case of additional ingestion or overconsumption, contact the Poison Center hotline at 1-800-222-1222 or call 911. Please consume responsibly.
I'm Terry. I'm Tony. question about how many years in advance she had to do pre-Medicaid planning. I told her 5 years. She said, "You sure?" I told her that yes, I'm absolutely sure. Your plan has to be in place 5 years before your mom goes into a nursing home. It was a long pause. Then she made an appointment to see me.
Then there's the second kind of call, post-nursing home planning. I'm Terry, and Medicaid rules are just that, rules. The second kind of caller explained that her mom was about to go into a nursing home, and she didn't know what to do. Here at Mannion and Copani, we do know what to do. There's always something that can be done.
Medicaid, it does take some planning. That's what we do.
Good morning, Mannion and Copani. I'm Jackie. Yes? Jackie. 24 Harrison Street, Suite 306.
Pork chops and applesauce. Gomez and I were doing that after the Autry show last week because I got the pork chops.
I love pork chops with applesauce. A little bit.
I bet you do. You're a child. You like the applesauce. You need applesauce.
I do like applesauce.
Make it more palatable.
You don't like applesauce?
No, I do, but like that's what babies eat. Toddlers eat applesauce.
Okay.
Do you dunk your nuggies in it too? Baby.
You know, my son, my 4-year-old, he dips his pasta in peanut butter.
Yeah, no. My mom would never have allowed that. I would have gotten beaten with a spoon at any age. You're not putting peanut butter on your pasta.
He asked for like a little pool of it, and he dips it and eats it.
That's not okay. Say no to that. That's
Talk.com.
This is Orange Nation.
Oh, man. Welcome back to Orange Nation. I really like this, Steve. I was seducing the ladies with this. I'll be sure. Night and day.
We should go to these old school bumps more often.
Oh, this is a banger.
No argument from me. Good song.
I'll be sure underrated, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Underappreciated, maybe. Yeah.
Got to go on your own, girl. Another one. Oh, he had an Anthony Davis eyebrow.
Unibrow. How was the trip to BC? We
It's
didn't really
great.
talk
I got to
much
see
about
an NBA game.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, are those dudes big. Like you don't like no offense to Jaquan Carlos, but he would go up to their chest.
Yeah. You must have had pretty good seats if you could tell the size of the humans.
Like Porzingis is a monster. Like there were 2 guys on the court, three guys that played that I saw play in college. And they are all markedly bigger than they were. Herder, you remember that skinny little redheaded kid that came in here and beat Syracuse with a Maryland team? He's thick.
Yeah.
Tatum is quadrupled his size. It's crazy how big those dudes are. And they're all skilled. Al Horford is older than Devo. Devo said he played with him in high school, and Horford was a year ahead, and he moves better than anybody I've ever seen at that age.
Yeah, right. Did they didn't win that game though, did they?
No, they
who they play?
They lost to the Kings, won 6 in a row.
Right.
And they were
the
out
Kings
with Fox.
without De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah. And they also Sabonis. We saw him.
Sure.
That dude is a completely different player. He's bringing the ball. He 27 rebounds, bringing the ball up, banging threes.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch.
Didn't he had like 20 plus rebounds in that game?
Yeah, 27.
27, yeah.
He was banging threes. Syracuse beat him. They beat Tatum. The only one you think, but is that getting under Syracuse fans' skin? Like you think back, like that John Gillen team didn't make the tournament either, but they beat Duke.
Right.
You know how many schools, there's schools that have been in the ACC a long time that haven't won at Duke as much as Syracuse has.
Right.
Or overall, I don't think Clemson's won there.
Well, it's not going to happen this year because they don't enter the state of North Carolina.
Right.
So it's not going to happen this year.
It's not been like a bowl of cherries, but
sure.
They won with Pascal Chukwu.
Yeah.
Down there. and Tyler Roberson. Like, either one of them are like pros.
That's for sure. That's for sure. All right. Quick segment here. We were a little bit behind, so we're going to get back on time. Again, phone lines open all of hour number 2. If you want to check in on SU football, SU basketball, give us a call, 315-437-7644.
I got to address something in our chat. The Cuse, the O Cuse 1966 says, this song reminds me of that club on the Erie Boulevard in the 80s. That would be the country club.
Yeah.
And it should. Like, those were my jams. Like if I don't remember Albie Sure playing in a club, though. You'd be doing the slow dance.
That's right, slow skate.
Yeah. That would have been weird if Albie Sure came on. But Guy, definitely, you would have heard.
Yeah, right. All right. We're going to step aside here. Phone lines open if you want to check in. Hour number 2 starts next on ESPN Radio.
The Sports Show with Cody Mack.
Where is Vito been? I don't know. He's probably mourning the Steelers' loss like the rest of us. Govendo, now that is funny. I've been banging threes forever. Get it, Steve?
Yeah.
He's banged ugly chicks. Just didn't know if you were up to speed on that. I'm not old enough to have gone, Spatch and Louise, I'm not old enough to have gone there when it was Suburban Park. We are on YouTube, Q Sports Talk. Oh, I should probably open that up. Sorry. My computer may not even be on right now. I don't know what the hell is happening. Sorry. I've been good about that. My computer isn't powering on. What the hell? I can't be on 2 streaming sources at the same time in our goddamn computer in the studio. I was told that January 20th I will be able to. I got angry and asked for a new computer, and it was approved.
Phil, yes, I am concerned about the Ravens, definitely.
How about Nowhere City? I saw Bismarcky and MC Shan at Nowhere City.
Where's Nowhere City?
You know where Trappers is? It's now like a big diesel truck store. It was that building.
Oh.
And it was for anybody could go. Nowhere City had Boogie Down Productions there. My mom was not a fan of me going there, but I went. That's how it should be, San Diego Q's. The country club used to have free drinks from 9 to 10, and I would just go and get hammered from 9 to 10 for free.
They had free drinks? Places do that?
It was lawless back then, man. Now that there's been, you pay $20 to get in, you could drink. They didn't, most people didn't do what I did.
Yeah.
But yeah, they now have binge drinking laws. Don't allow bars.
Yeah, it's a tough road ahead for the Bills, Phil, with Ravens, and then if they're fortunate enough to win that, then they're probably at Kansas City, and then if they win that, obviously whoever comes out of the NFC. So it's going to be tough, but they do have Josh Allen. I think they can do it.
Hello, YouTube. Hello, Cuse Vegas.
I think you say, well, hello.
Well, hello. That was a mixture of both. Well, hello, YouTube. Why is Mike's microphone so bad every week? He's on the phone. Football Villain 56. Hi, YouTube. What's the Eagles bar? Oh, in San Diego. I didn't know. Is there an Eagles bar in Syracuse? We have to ask Mike McAllister that. Yeah, that's because somebody else is supposed to tackle the quarterback in that situation. Phone's ringing. Save your story.
ESPN Radio. Watch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com.
Oh, my goodness.
This is Orange Nation.
En Vogue. Free your mind. I would have married any one of these ladies.
Very talented group.
Oh, yes. Why did we stop doing this? What are the chat? This makes me hate the artist of the day right now. Oh, En Vogue. We're trying to figure out, is there an Eagles bar in town? People are saying Change of Pace. I was getting Change of Pace and Chadwick's mixed up. Chadwick's is a Steelers bar, but apparently the Change of Pace. Is there a bar for every team? Like, is there a Bears bar?
I doubt there's a bar for every team.
Is there a Niners bar?
I don't know.
How about you call in or get on our chat and tell us where your favorite team, if you got like a weird favorite team, there's got to be a Dolphins bar, right?
I do not.
Do they talk to each other like this? That's my dolphin impersonation.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
You probably said something.
I did. Probably going to get fined by the FCC now. Let's go to Scooter.
Yes. Scooter, what's going on?
What's your favorite NFL team, Scooter?
The Dolphins there, Paulie. Yeah, that's what.
Is there a Dolphins bar?
I just find it amazing how they carry the ball and not, in their fins and not drop it. I think that's amazing how I just run down there. Yeah, I've been fan ever since Zonka went there in the 70s and just, the no-name defense, of course, and what they did.
Do you know, is there a Dolphins bar that people go to?
I don't think they're specific, but I tell you something. There's a ton of Dolphin fans in there. There's a place called Trappers over here in Manoa, and you can go there, and they usually got the side of the bar. I'll take it and stuff. But you go anywhere. It was amazing. That of course Steelers. There's a place on James Street that used to be a Steelers bar. I don't know if it's still open or not. But they're all over the place there, and there used to be a Cleveland Browns bar way back when you can get illegally the satellite down off Burnett Avenue. They used to be a big Cleveland Browns bar. Hey, you mentioned that country club there, Paulie. Before that, I think it was called Uncle Sam's.
Yeah, in
when I was growing up.
Suburban Park was that?
Suburban Park, yeah. Uncle Sam's had the firecracker. That was amazing. That was one of the better drinks. I think it was a Long Island iced tea, but they call it the firecracker. McCord, perfect timing. I said it from the beginning. His skill set is for the NFL right now. If you look at it, it's a weak NFL draft. I think for quarterbacks, I don't think there's a franchise quarterback like last year. Look at last year, man. Look how the rookies are starting from last year. So perfect timing. It kind of reminds me of, I think, the Purdue quarterback, O'Connell, when he came in for Purdue. I think he's starting, or he has started for the Raiders. He kind of reminds me of him. Good skill set and perfect timing. I'm glad that the decision's made early because it should free up NIL money now because obviously I think somebody was putting money on hold just in case, and I think they keep McCord here. They're going to put some extra zeros on that contract. That wouldn't be a surprise if we're taking it almost between $1 million, $2 million to keep him here. So it's good that they actually made the decision early, and I think he's better. I say he's better than Gabriel. Skill sets for the NFL, and we'll see what happens with Sanders' son. I mean, I don't know. We'll see if he can read a defense. He certainly couldn't do it against Brigham Young. Let's put it that way. And I wish him well. He was good. I saw him like this after the first game, and I thought him and Gentry would have been next to each other in the Heisman, and I still say so.
Yeah, I mean, it's remarkable what he did in 1 year, and not just for this program, but for himself and his future. It worked out for everybody involved, right? I mean, it worked out for Fran, it worked out for the fans, it worked out for him, it worked out for this program, it worked out for everybody.
I'm so glad he's going pro, because I don't know if I could have taken the fact that someone could have poached him. Like, I don't know if it's possible, but they would have gotten outbid for him, right? If he was allowed to stay one more. There was no guarantee. Like, I would assume he would come back, but there would have been a lot of money on the table for Kyle McCord elsewhere.
Especially after what he just did.
And I don't think I'm ready for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it seemed like the right decision all along. He weighed his options. He got good feedback, and he decided that he's going to go. And again, it would have been it's a risk either way, right? It would have been a risk if he came back, and with that schedule, if things didn't go quite as well, and maybe he didn't have a good year, then maybe his stock drops. I think his stock is probably as high as it would have gotten.
I wouldn't hate if the Steelers took a shot at him. They could use him. Let me ask you a question now that I just brought that up, because we like to play hypothetical questions on sports radio. Like, how we've already put him, like, he's probably going to be in the Stoneheads of Mount Rushmore. That's what I'm talking about.
The Stoneheads, yes.
The Stoneheads of Syracuse football. The Mount Rushmore of Syracuse football. How would that have gone over if he got the waiver and went to another school? Can you still put him in?
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a good question, Paulie.
Would we hate him, or would we still love him? Because that's probably going to happen at a lot of schools, and even here, where you're going to get a kid who comes in and just tears it up and then goes somewhere else. Like, would you hate that kid?
I don't know about hate. I think that would probably impact whether or not he's actually on the Mount Rushmore. I think it would. What do you think?
I'm a different type. Like, yeah, good for you. Go get yours. You'd still be on my Mount Stonehead. You'd be a Stonehead. Maybe that'll be the award we give out. We should do awards at the end of the show.
The
Stoneheads? At the end of the years, and we call it the Stoneheads. We do callers and like the Cuse Player of the Year, Best Interview. You get a Stonehead instead of Mount Rushmore. Because in Mount Rushmore, you're kind of limited.
You are limited, yeah.
You can get as many Stoneheads out as you want.
I would think, I saw this the other day, too, about, there was this talk about is Kyle McCord, like, on the level of Carmelo? And he's not. Like, Melo won a national title. Jerry won a national title. That is a different level than what Kyle McCord did, but what Kyle did was very impressive, and I think that he will be looked fondly upon. And if he comes back to an SU football game and they show him on the big screen, people are going to stand up and cheer for him, and that's the way it should be. I don't think that he's on that same level, though, as what Carmelo Anthony did for this place.
All right, hold please. I'm doing a roster check here. There's a guy. I want to play this hypothetical game with you again. All right, same thing. I'm going to ask you a question. J.J. Starling.
What are we doing?
I'm going to ask you a hypothetical.
Okay.
He is averaging how many points a game, Steve?
20, I think.
19.8.
Okay, 20.
Right, yes. Let's just say he finishes the year averaging 20 points a game. Somehow gets up to 19 wins. Maybe even 20 with this team. And then next year,
leaves.
Yeah, and like say a Kentucky comes calling. How do you say, like, does this change it's free agency? Like, sometimes when everybody hated LeBron when he left their favorite teams, like, that's part of college basketball now. And
yeah, I don't think there's hatred. Like, I was reading.
You don't? Do you follow our fan base? Like, you don't think?
Like, does anybody? The example I was going to bring up is I was reading a story today about Malik Brown, that he suffered a knee injury. John Shire says he's going to be out for weeks. It's a lengthy injury that he's going to be out for. Does anybody have any ill will toward Malik Brown?
No.
I don't think so either.
Well, Malik Brown wasn't putting up Kyle McCord numbers. Like if Kyle McCord, it's going to happen eventually here. Somebody's going to leave here. And you're going to have to make a decision. Like somebody that this fan base falls in love with.
But I'm saying, I'm using Malik Brown as the example. Like people loved him and they thought that he was going to be one of their better players.
Yeah, but Malik Brown isn't doing what
you're saying. Like if
JJ keeps averaging 19.8, you're
saying the best player. If the best player
on the team leaves, goes somewhere else. How's the fan base going to do? And it's going to happen to every school.
Well, I think you saw like Deuce Chestnut as an example of a guy who had a really good year, and then he left, and people were like upset by it, but I don't think they hated him. And then he came back, and now everybody loves him again. So I don't know if it's hatred. I think it may be disappointment. Like, when your parents say, "I'm not mad at you, I'm just disappointed." There might be some of that. I don't know that fans hate players that leave.
Are you kidding me?
Hate?
Yes.
Give me an example of somebody.
I just did. LeBron James.
No, Syracuse guy, I'm saying.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
Plenty of guys have left.
Yeah,
though.
but it hasn't been a guy that would, like, if Kyle McCord went to another school next year.
Hate? I don't believe that.
You don't think so?
No.
Steve?
I know. I've been wrong on this. I've been wrong on this with Autry, and I know. But I just find it hard to believe.
Imagine if Kyle McCord went to Miami. Imagine if J.J. Starling goes to Duke or UNC next year. You don't think our fan base would turn on him?
I think some fans, I don't know. Yes, they would turn on him. I don't know. I think Joe Girard is an example of, I guess the fan base turned on him and he stayed.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Jesse Edwards.
Yeah, I guess you're probably right.
Nobody was mad at Jesse Edwards because Syracuse, like I think most people realize that Jesse Edwards would have probably been at Syracuse if things had worked out,
Yeah, I don't know. You
don't like putting yourself in that position because you're a nice guy. You can't put yourself in an irrational fan's position. You know who would be good to ask this question to is someone like Jordan. Because Jordan will give you an on like.
All right, so let me try to put it in Bill's terms because that's so if Josh Allen left for like the Patriots,
for anywhere.
No, I know, but you were trying to give like the ultimate example, right? Like if JJ went to Duke, like if Allen went to the Patriots, it would feel like he turned his back on the fan base. And he said all along that he wants to be there for his entire career and so on and so forth. I don't think I would hate him, though.
You're different. I wouldn't hate him either. But I think the fans that we deal with on a regular basis would hate him. What if he goes and wins a Super Bowl?
Oh, man.
Somewhere else. What would it take for you to hate Josh Allen? Oh, this is a good question. People think I'm drunk right now. What would it take for you to hate Josh Allen on the field? Now, I don't need like off the field shenanigans. What would it take for you at this point for him to you're Marty Jannetty, all right, and he kicks you right in the chin and then throws you through the barbershop window? Well, what would it take for you to hate?
Oh
him?
Man, I don't know that I would or could truly hate somebody.
What if he went to the Patriots?
Like I said, it would sicken me. I would just be like,
that's pretty much hate, dude.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, hate is I love this. Everybody's like, hate is a strong word. When I said I never hate a player on my team, everybody's like, you're stupid. You're a dope. Now I'm trying to get you to hate a guy who's literally Shawn Michaels kicking you, giving you sweet chin music, and you're all like, I couldn't hate the guy who just kicked me in the face.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're Hulk Hogan. And Andre the Giant rips your chain off. I'm doing the best heel turns in history right
now. Yeah, him going to the Patriots and then winning a Super Bowl, or even if he didn't win a Super Bowl there, just him going to the Patriots would be a kick to the gut.
Like you guys, do you remember when I said I didn't hate Trent Grisham?
Yeah.
And you guys were like, how can you not hate him? You got to be able to hate a player. No, he's on my team. I love him. but you can't hate the guy who turns on you, blindsided you with a steel chair.
But like, what are the circumstances? Like you say, turns on you.
Free agency.
Right, he left for more money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be extremely disappointed. Like, it would be when your parents say they're not mad at you, they're just disappointed. Be like, really? Like, you told us all along you wanted to be here for your whole career. How could you do this? You're going to go to the Patriots for an extra couple million or whatever. Like, why? And I think the city of Buffalo, see, that's an interesting thing. I think people in the city of Buffalo would hate him.
Yes.
Yes.
If Fernando Tatis.
Because it would be like turning their back on, like, the relationship between the fans in Buffalo and like the city and the team. It's like they're all one and the same, right? And for him to leave, that would feel like he was turning his back personally on the people in the city.
Right. I will give you a great example. Blake Snell has had a buffer year between going from the Padres to the Dodgers, and just the message boards and chat people they hate that dude, and he didn't do anything wrong. Like, the Padres didn't even offer him.
Right.
And they hate him.
Okay. Yeah, I'm starting to come around on this. I get it.
So, how do you think the fan base would react?
So I think JJ's,
if Kyle McCord was slinging the ball around for Texas next year.
I think JJ's a different example because JJ has roots here, and family here, and grew up in Beeville, and we all got to watch him grow up.
But don't you want the best for him?
Yeah, I don't think people would hate JJ. I don't think there's anything he could do. Like, if he left, I think it would just be like, thanks for coming here for a couple of years. You're a great player. Best of luck. His family's still here. McCord is an interesting example because he came here and he did everything right.
Yes.
Said everything right. Performed on the field. Outperformed expectations.
Only signed a 1-year deal. He's not doing anything wrong.
I don't know, Paulie.
But next year, USC offered him more money.
I don't know. Because I think everybody fell in love with him this year, and he brought excitement back to the program, and he more than delivered on everything that was promised.
Let me ask you another question with NIL. Like, what would it take for the average fan to go, oh, my God, start a GoFundMe? What would make them realize, like, oh, my God, like, what if Kyle McCord just said, hey, guys, Syracuse fans, I love it here. Love it here. But USC just offered me $2 million. I'm going to give you a week to get a GoFundMe.
I mean, didn't Carson Beck just got $4 million?
Yeah. Right?
What if it was that? What if that was the asking price
to
go to Miami? So, another program in your conference. Oh, man.
Because that's what all NIL is, right? It's like, it's up to the fans. Most people point at the rich guy, like the rich fans got to pay, but no, like everybody's got to do it. And I don't like it. It's gross.
Yeah. Man, would they hate Kyle McCord if he left? What do you think?
There would be a vocal portion that would be
hate.
Yes.
Would be like, he's dead to us.
Yes, he's dead to us.
Really? So I guess that answers your question.
Alphabet guy, great question. What if Fran Brown went somewhere else?
Well, again, in this example that Alphabet guy says, if he went to the Cowboys,
I don't care.
You can't upset. Well, because it's the same as Marone going to the Bills. Is that?
But like, what would you do if he went to another college? Like,
I think fans would be mad at the university, not mad at him.
I think you're naive, Steve. I think they'd be mad.
I think it would be like, see, they don't take football seriously. How could you let him get away? I think that's what the narrative would be.
Like, but Fran Brown's a guy Syracuse could get outpriced for if he keeps this pace up.
Of course. Right. So I think that would be people would be mad not at him.
But I think that's a reality Syracuse fans need to know.
Sure. I think they would be mad at the university and say, how could you let him get away? With Marone, I think people were mad at him because he wasn't even that good while he was here. He was 500. He was, and he didn't exactly endear himself to the fans when he was here.
Yeah.
So I think that there's more animosity about Marone and, this was my dream job and so on and so forth. I don't think people blame him for going to the Bills. I think he just wasn't really a likable guy. And he was like mediocre when he was fine. He was better than the guy before him. Let's put it that way. But I don't think people fell in love with Doug Marrone the way they've fallen in love with Fran Brown.
I think you just described me perfectly. Unlikable and mediocre. Did you guys know that tonight is the last night of Lights on the Lake?
I did know that. Jordan brought it up on Friday, and as a result, my wife and I went on Saturday to Lights on the Lake. You were not around. You were at the BC games. I would have asked you otherwise.
And it's charity night. 100% of the proceeds go to the charities listed below, Steve. The Cara Fund, the Alpha Omega Phi Fraternity and Sorority, Keberman and Matthew 25 Farm. LightsOnTheLake.com, presented by your Upstate Honda dealers and the Upstate Golisano Children's Hospital, Wegmans. Lights on the Lake. You want to take a quick question?
Let's do it.
We're way behind. Doug, what's up? Or Don on Doug. Doug on Don. Don on Doug. Whatever that is. What's up, Don?
John in Bridgeport, guys.
It's John. Not. It says Don on our.
It does say Don on our call screener, but yes.
So I messed it up.
It's hello, men. John, how are you? Hello, men.
Well, yes, Doug Marrone is on the hate list.
Is he?
And let me put it to you this way. If Jim Kelly would have changed and went to Miami, he'd be hated in Buffalo.
You're right.
I agree with you. Yeah.
If Dan Marino decided to go to Buffalo, he'd be hated in Miami. It's if you're that good of a player and you go to the most hated team, your rival, of course the fan base is going to hate you. It doesn't matter. If McCord had left and went to Pittsburgh, I don't think there'd be much love for McCord when he came back into the Dome.
What about if he goes to USC, like under Paulie's example? If it's a team that Syracuse doesn't even play and doesn't even deal with, do you think there would be the same animosity or any animosity?
UNC, like North Carolina, or USC?
No, I said USC, like goes out west to play for the Trojans.
Oh, it wouldn't matter. We'd never see him again.
Okay, so they wouldn't be angry, but if it was a team on their schedule,
I'd still be angry.
People would be angry.
Correct.
Okay, I got you.
All right, thanks for the call, Fred.
Go on.
See you, John. Yeah, I can see that. Like if Josh Allen left the Bills and went to I don't know,
Pittsburgh.
Well, I was going to give him an NFC team, like a team that they don't.
The Lions.
They don't see right. They don't see him during the regular season, or they wouldn't see him during the playoffs.
Imagine him in a dome.
I know. Oh, I know.
All right, let's take a timeout.
First thing I said when we were talking about yesterday, we were talking about the matchup. My kids said, "How do you feel about the Ravens game?" And I said, "I hope the weather's good because, in a good weather situation, I like the Bills' chances. But if it's cold and wet and snowy, and we've seen how that plays out. Anyway, we'll take a timeout. We're back after this on ESPN Radio.
Syracuse basketball head coach Adrian Autry joins Orange Nation every Thursday at 1. Brought to you by Burdick Ford, Burdick Toyota, and Burdick Lexus. ESPN 97.7 and 100.1.
Compact yet mighty, the versatile BMW X1 SUV packs a lot of power and personality in a compact body and leads with advanced technology. Stand out and show off in the all-new X1 xDrive 28i. You'll command attention wherever you go. Lease the 2025 BMW.
Shut up. Shut up. Are we doing Subscriber Monday? I don't know. I think I did my part. I don't normally do that. Brian normally does it. I don't even know what the hell the name of it is half the time. I didn't know what Stonehenge. Or is that Stonehenge? Mount Rushmore. I mean, am I stoned? Maybe people are right. Maybe I am stoned. Mount Stonehead. I just looked at Paul Davis. I was stressing out. Because my brain's not functioning. And I looked at Paul Davis and everything was okay.
Success is brought to you by Pawn Pro, Erie Boulevard in Syracuse, where you can buy, sell, or trade. At Pawn Pro, they'll tell you what.
Yeah, I saw the Ravens are slight favorite. I don't love the matchup, but got to play them at some point. So, am I gonna bet on the Bills? I don't know. I mean, I do hold a ticket for them to win the Super Bowl, so I don't know that I'm going to bet on them this week, but we shall see.
Steve, you ever wonder what my life is like? No. You know, I'm going to give you a behind the scenes thing here. So everybody on Q Sports Talk and YouTube, this is a special moment for us all. I'm going to share with you what my life is like. Last night I was laying in bed and I laughed for 15 minutes straight because I watched a video of a hippo farting in a kiddie pool. And the bubbles came up, and I don't think I've laughed like that in a long time.
Did Indy check on you? Like, is there something wrong? Or?
No, she was asleep. But I watched a hippo fart, and little bubbles came up, and I laughed. And I laughed for 15 minutes. Like an unhealthy, chest-hurt laugh. By myself. I did not fart, also. I don't think I'm in a relationship strong enough with the chat yet, in either one, to tell you if I farted or not. Soon, someday. You guys gotta be nicer to me. Tim Schumer, I do love you. Thank you. Talking to both chats, Steve. I'm a man of the people. Wasabi dude farts in the tub. Are you a grown man, Wasabi dude? You take baths?
ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com.
This is Orange Nation.
Welcome back to Orange Nation. Artist of the day is whatever the hell the bumps are. This song is a great song. Holds up. Return of Meg. Now this reminds me of the clubs. Steve, just asked you a very important question. One of our listeners in our chat on Q Sports Talk said he took a bath. I don't know how old he was, but he had a daughter at the time. What age is a grown man too old to take a bath?
Like once in a while, I think it's fine. I think you're talking on a regular basis.
Yeah, like I haven't taken a bath since I was probably in my teens.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say, like 12 or 13. I think you would just start taking showers all the time. But, you know, I don't see anything wrong with taking a bath here and there. I can't remember the last time I took a bath.
I don't like baths is because I don't feel like you. Like, I feel like I'm soaking in my own filth.
You are. You have to shower first.
Shower first. After.
No, I'm saying shower first, and then you're clean, and then you can take the bath.
No, because you miss parts. I would have to shower after.
Oh, you're a strange dude. I know you think that I am, but you are too. Like, we both have some quirks.
Why?
I don't know. You and your washcloths and
like,
you can't take a bath.
Yeah, I'm not taking a bath.
What about, like, if you're in, like, a jacuzzi?
That's not taking a bath. If you break out a bar of soap in a jacuzzi and take your clothes off, I'm getting out.
No, but I'm saying, but you're still, like, sitting in, like...
You can sit in a jacuzzi. It's got chlorine in it, and then you shower after.
Yeah, okay.
But if a dude starts taking his clothes off and cleaning in a jacuzzi with me, there might be fists flying.
That's fair.
I don't want your soap scum touching me. So, Jordan asked a good question in a rundown, Steve. What is your level of confidence going into the Louisville game for Syracuse basketball?
My level of confidence.
They shoot a lot of threes.
I think they are getting better. I think that Louisville is really good. I think
they're beatable, though.
I think Louisville's one of the best teams in the conference.
If Donnie Freeman is healthy, like this is a matchup for Syracuse with Lampkin, and like they should be able to get theirs.
Do you have any reason to believe he's going to play?
No, I don't know. He's day-to-day. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
I would think. And tomorrow's a day.
It is. He did say day-to-day, week-to-week in his answer.
It's a week. It's a week also, Steve.
Okay.
Got to keep up hope.
I have no reason to believe that he is going to play. I mean, maybe.
Do you have a reason to believe he isn't? When somebody's day-to-day, you don't know.
No, I know, but he said day-to-day, week-to-week.
Yeah, it's a new week.
Yeah, I don't know. When I hear week-to-week, I think, like...
Does Syracuse also have you don't see the players get hurt? Is it weird? Like, nobody saw JJ get hurt. He was just hurt.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, he's got a cast on his hand. All of a sudden, Freeman's got a boot. The last time I remember a Syracuse player getting hurt and I saw it was probably like Jesse Edwards when he broke his wrist.
Oh, yeah, right.
But even then, he finished the game. Like,
sure.
Syracuse has phantom injuries.
Yeah. No, it's unfortunate. I think it's a tall order to ask them to win this game tomorrow. I mean, I know that's obviously, what everybody's hoping for. So my confidence level in whether or not they win is, I think it's less than 50-50. My confidence level in, are they getting better? Are they improving? Yeah, I think they are. I think they're getting better.
What is your confidence in this team going forward if they do win this game?
I think that will be a statement win. I think that will send a message, not that they're necessarily going to make the NCAA tournament, but I think that will send a message that they could string together some wins. I mean, that would be a third win in a row for them. It would obviously be their best win of the season. And Louisville, I think, is legitimately a good team. So I think that would give fans hope that a push toward March is possible.
If you were putting a line on this game, Stephen Fonte, what do you think it'd be? I'm looking right now.
I don't know that there's one out yet. I would say
I'm looking right now.
I'm not great at this. I would say Louisville like 6.5,
5.5,
5.5. Oh, is that out?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's not official, but 5.5 right now.
Okay, that sounds about right. I was toying between 5 and 6. Okay, yeah. Sounds about right.
I don't know where I'm at in my confidence. Like, I don't think I would bet on this team. Someone asked, is this a quad 1 or a quad 2? I think it's a quad 2.
I don't know Louisville's net off the top of my head. Let me check.
But it's a huge win either way. Even getting a quad 2 win for this team would be great. Right? I don't think they have a quad 2 win.
They don't. Just on the outside of quad 1. They're 35th.
So they could move into it.
They could.
But if you lose to Syracuse, it makes you harder to move into it.
Louisville's resume, they've got a good resume. They're perfect in quads 2, 3, and 4, and they've played 8 quad 1 games already. They're 3-5 in quad 1.
Right, that's a predicament Syracuse is in on the bubble, because if you beat the good teams in the ACC,
then
there's only a couple teams in the ACC that if they lose to Syracuse aren't going to drop. Like Pittsburgh would drop, Louisville would drop, Duke would probably stay. UNC's not the team we thought they were going to be.
Yeah. Syracuse 143 right now.
Clemson on the road would be a good win.
Yeah. Clemson, I mean, that's got to be a quad. Yeah,
definitely.
They're 38th.
You're not going to knock them out.
Carolina's 37th.
Wow.
So, again, I think Carolina,
it's because they're strength of schedule.
Well, I was going to say, everybody sees the 6 losses and they say, wow, they're really struggling. And I'm not saying they're having a great year, but I think they're going to be just fine. I mean, all 6 losses are quad 1 losses. Their schedule has been very difficult.
But yeah, and Do you think Jordan also asked this question? So I'll pose it to you. Do you think this team with JJ and Donnie Freeman both healthy has a legitimate chance to make a run and take down some good ACC teams? Yes.
Yeah,
I do.
Again, not predicting them to make the NCAA tournament at this point, but if they're fully healthy, yes, I think they can cause some problems for people.
I could see, I wouldn't be shocked if they beat anybody. I wouldn't be shocked if they beat anybody without.
Except Duke. I think Duke is on a different level.
I would be shocked if they beat them.
Yeah. Anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
I mean, Duke looks to be that good this year. But outside of them, I honestly, I think Louisville's in that next tier.
I think Clemson is also.
Yeah.
I think Clemson's the second best team in the league.
Yeah, I think Clemson's really good. I think Louisville's really good. I do think Carolina's still good. So I think it's Duke, and then I think those teams are in that next tier, and Syracuse has a chance, at home against one of those teams tomorrow night. I was going to say they're not healthy. I don't know if Donnie Freeman's going to play. I don't have any inside information on that. I would just say based on the way that Red handled the question when we asked it to him, I got the feeling that it was going to be a little bit,
Right.
So we'll see. I mean,
Let's take a break.
Hopefully it comes back sooner rather than later.
And we'll speak to the before-mentioned Jordan.
Yes.
We'll welcome in for the week.
Today's business. Coming up next on ESPN Radio.
The 315 with Brian Higgins.
I don't know if it was possible for Kyle McCord to have done
Jair's
more
been
than
great.
he did
He's a
in
better
the last
defender.
year. For that, thank
Definitely
you,
a better
McCord.
defender.
Fran, yes, but without what Kyle did, the juice that got injected back into the Syracuse football program this last year would not have happened. It's a program that was wallowing, and it's back.
Sorry, guys. Okay, Subscriber Monday time. Here we go. The list is downloaded. Steve, are you excited for this?
What the list of what?
Subscriber Monday. Know your job. It's not courtside seats. Stop saying that, Gavendo. It's not courtside seats. The commercials aren't on. Shut up. Lukey Lou. I like him. There we go. Good job. Thank you for your... Yes. Lukey's the old producer of what? Is that who that is? Logan Gillette takes Epsom salt baths. In our YouTube chat. He won a $25 gift card to the Autry show and tickets to the game, CJC. Thanks for listening. I had to start going to the gym again, Steve. I don't know if you know this. I used to go to the gym.
Yeah, used to.
And my belly is... I'm getting marks from where my belt is. I didn't wear a belt today because it hurts my fat gut.
Too much information.
Why is that too much information? That I'm fat? I'm skinny fat. That's right, Kevin. I wouldn't put that in the too much information department. Is telling somebody you're so fat that you get a mark from where your belt hits your belly too much information?
Depends who said it.
Me.
Yeah.
No, it's not. If I said something like my ass itches, that's too much information.
I think those are equal amounts of information.
No.
It was borderline.
It's my stomach. It's not like too much information.
All right. It's like your undercarriage.
It's not. It's above my undercarriage.
Where the fuck
That's
do you
what
put in your belt, dude?
That's right. Like
Where do you wear
That's
your
the
belt?
problem. Is my undercarriage has.
You are old.
My
If your
undercarriage is
belt
hard to see now.
If your belt is that high, you
it's,
are old.
No, it's hitting the under, like the fold over the belt. It's,
Why are the Josh's Jacks on a stool back there? Oh, Merry Christmas to Steve. Here we go.
CJC wears his belt just under his nipples. That's a lot.
Yeah, he
I
works
have
in sales. Do you guys want to hear anything from Autry's Zoom call, or do you want to just talk about the Bills?
Brian Higgins. I never thought I'd read this. I never thought I'd read this in my life. Brian Higgins added and permitted the term "gunt."
He talks about. He claims Jaquan is still important to the team and how it might be tough for him. Somebody asked him directly about missing the ACC tournament. Not him, but he just talked about that. Somebody asked him essentially in a nice way, what does Alex Klein do? There's one about...
Is there anything worth it in your mind? No? Okay.
Oh no. Oh boy. Welcome back to Orange Nation. I don't even know where I am on the screen right now. There we are. Here we go. Let's do this. Welcome in, Jordan. Oh, this is a jam. You know who this is, Jordan?
It's Aretha Franklin, right?
It's Diddy by Paperboy.
Oh. Okay.
I did the running man to this at Club Chameleon.
Paperboy one-hit wonder?
Oh, absolutely.
Gotta be, right?
Were you ever a Paperboy?
No.
Neither one of you guys were Paperboys.
I was answering for Steve. Steve wasn't a Paperboy.
If you want the real answer, I filled in as a Paperboy.
Yeah, you've never.
I wanted you to lie.
You have never put that.
No, I did the neighborhood paper route for a neighbor a couple times.
So did you actually put that? I had that bag that went over your shoulders and you filled it with papers and you had to walk around.
No, we drove. My mom drove me.
That's about right. Yeah. That's about right. Your mom drove you. Did you roll the papers yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
I'm so glad we got to that part of the story.
Why would I lie about that?
You can't even say yes. Like, you have to start with that. Were you a paperboy? Yes, but my mom drove me. Like, that has to be...
That was the most Steve comment ever. Of course you did.
I'm sorry, Steve. Like,
you thought the answer was no, that I'd never done a paper route before.
It is.
And I have.
It is.
No, your mom drove you.
I filled in.
You never carried.
Your mom did.
You never had the duty of knocking on your neighbor's door and asking them to pay you for the paper.
No.
Did you split the money with your mom?
You don't get to split the money.
I don't know. I just did it, I think, as a favor. I don't even think I got paid for it. I just did it to help out a friend.
I was a tiny human as a kid. Like, I didn't hit a grow till I was like 18, and I was just lugging that bag of
it was like
newspaper.
dragging on the ground.
Yeah, it was terrible. But I loved it. It allowed me to go to the arcade and the movies.
Yeah.
Jordan, today's business brought to you by
Grossman, Say No More CPAs.
Oops, I did it backwards.
That's okay.
Steve, what's the website? You answer now, because
GSACPAs.com.
I think there's something wrong with my brain today.
Yeah.
Yes, today.
Poor John in Bridgeport. He was like Don and Fred, and
I was just reading. It was on the.
I know.
It was on the screener.
That was not your fault. Yes.
Fran Brown would kick you both off the team right now. You know what Kyle McCord would have said? He would have been like, "Oh, John from Bridgeport. You're the only person who calls from Bridgeport. You call so often. We should have known. But you guys would be kicked off the Syracuse football team.
We are. Don't pawn somebody else's error off on us. You know that we both are just going to read what.
I'm not pawning an error off on you.
Whatever's in front of us, we're reading.
I'm just saying, like,
I heard the show was big in Bridgeport, and it could have just been a new caller from Bridgeport.
Yeah, we can't ever get a new caller. Yeah,
no, you didn't. Hear
I happen to know Don.
All right, Jordan, what do you got?
I have a buddy, Don, from Bridgeport, and I was like, "Oh, Don."
Don decided to call.
Yeah, what an honor.
I don't believe that. All right, so I'm going to start with this.
Okay.
I might swerve, bend that corner. Whoa. Does that mean anything to either of you?
It wasn't even a sentence. That was just words put together.
Well, those words have earned LiAngelo Ball a $13 million contract with Def Jam and Universal Music Group. That is the chorus to his song. I believe it's called Tweaker. He has an $8 million guaranteed contract and full ownership of his music and a record label. That's right. LiAngelo Ball owns his masters. The song has gone viral. It's being played in like all the NBA locker rooms.
Is it good?
And whatnot. I mean, I don't think you guys would like it.
No? Okay. What does that mean?
I just don't think you'd like it.
No, I think I'm offended.
I'm old because I didn't know what this was. When I heard tweaker, I think of somebody that's on the drugs. That's what I always called people on drugs, tweakers.
So I want to ask you this. I was talking about this, I think, last Friday. Lonzo's in the NBA. LaMelo's in the NBA. LiAngelo has an $8 million guaranteed record label. People aren't talking enough about the fact that LeVar Ball was a genius. People love to crap on him when he was out there saying he could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one. LeVar Ball, all three of his kids are set for life now. And nobody is asking to interview him now like, oh, LeVar, like your kids are doing great despite your terrible shoes. Like, are you proud? What's going into it? Can we all agree that LeVar Ball was on to something now and wasn't just a crazy guy?
No. Did he write tweaker? No,
but he promoted the ever-loving bejeebers out of his kids. He spoke it into existence.
I would rather be me without a dad like that.
Is he kind of like Serena and Venus' dad, Richard, right? A little bit. Like he was just
the
master,
next level.
He was just the master promoter and made sure that, and I think both of them got a bad rap. Did you see the movie, King Richard?
I watched it now.
Those dads are not good news. Like I always think of like Joe Jackson.
Dude, it worked.
Yeah, Michael Jackson dad was a little aggressive too.
Okay, well, as far as I know, LeVar Ball didn't do that. So I don't think we need to compare them. I'm just saying LiAngelo's not even in the NBA.
Well, to answer your question, Jordan, it worked, right? I mean, this is what his dream was for his kids, was to make them, uber famous, and it worked. I
mean, they're so set.
I know.
Dude dropped one song and he has $8 million guaranteed. You can't tell me part of it isn't because LeVar just promoted the balls to just the moon.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't care for the tactics. I think he kind of rubs me the wrong way. It sounds like he rubs Paulie the wrong way too. But it worked.
Paulie compared him to a child.
No,
abuser, so he does.
Well, we don't know what the hell he did. He was aggressive.
One is well documented. The other is not. I think comparing them is actually ridiculous.
He was obnoxious.
No, because they were both obnoxious dads that pushed their kids to do things probably way more than they should have.
Not against the law to be
getting at.
Yes, it is exactly what I'm getting at.
Michael Jackson's dad was a bit aggressive.
He was. He pushed his kids as children to do things that most kids probably wouldn't have had to do. 100% the same thing.
100%.
I'm not a fan of LeVar, but to your point, it worked. All three of his kids are famous, and they got a lot of money in the bank.
Do you want to talk about the Bills before we move on?
What do you want to talk about?
I don't care. I assumed you want to talk about the Bills because before the show started, you asked me if we were going to talk about the Bills.
Oh, I was kidding. I said 2 hours of Bills talk today. No, I mean,
we don't have to talk about them.
I think yesterday had the potential to be a dangerous game, and especially the way it started had the potential to be a dangerous game. Being a Bills fan, like you always are expecting the worst. You're like, can I buy into this team? We talk about it with Paulie about, are they feeling vergy? And I feel like this team is different than past Bills teams, I'm saying. And, I think yesterday was a good example. They got off to a slow start that easily could have been a tricky game for them. And then they just found another gear and they ended up winning comfortably. I do think next week is going to be very difficult. I think this game against the Ravens, I honestly think whoever wins this game is the better team in the matchup of the following week with the Chiefs, assuming the Chiefs win.
Let me ask you a question.
Chiefs are going to have that on their bulletin board.
Let me ask you guys both a hypothetical now. Would you rather have, money out of the picture. Would you have wanted to grown up in a situation like the Williams, like the Jacksons, like the Balls, where your parents pushed you every day to do one thing?
No.
I don't think I would either. I think I'm happy. I don't have the best life, but I think I'm pretty happy not having been pushed to do something every day. But man, sometimes, because for every Serena Williams or Jackson,
there's a lot of
probably
we don't hear about. Right.
Some kid that's been playing football, throwing footballs like every day of his life because his parents forced him to.
No doubt. I'm sure that happens all over the place.
Jordan, would you?
I don't know.
You don't? Wow.
Yeah, I don't think I would have. I don't think I would have liked that.
I mean, I guess it depends on the severity, like the extremes. Like if it's just like
there's a difference between
we interviewed Serena Williams' coach,
right?
And they were they didn't grow up in the best neighborhood,
right?
And they were playing tennis every day,
right?
Like their coach, they were every day out there,
right? Yeah, and again, they're the exception to the rule. And you're right. There's probably tens of thousands of parents who push their kids, and I think there's a fine line between caring and wanting what's best for your kid, and trying to push them, and then going crossing the line or pushing them too much.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen some cases of but Jordan brings up the point that did LeVar push his kids too much because they are where they wanted to be.
But for every one of them, like like if they weren't famous,
right? Who crosses the line?
Yeah.
Right, we wouldn't learn about it unless they were famous. So I get it. All right, we got to take our final time out. We will wrap things up on the other side. Back after this on ESPN Radio.
Because I bet a lot of them didn't do things like normal kids did. Like,
I'm sure.
Tiger's dad did. Like Tiger spent his whole life on a freaking golf course, but he's great.
At what cost,
And it makes you wonder,
I think Tiger's got some, I think Tiger's talked a little bit about some of his personal issues that he deals with.
Yeah.
Is that related to the way he grew up? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it all does, but none of the Jacksons are normal.
Hey guys. Until Newhouse comes back, there's just this unfortunate gap between 2 and 3. Lucky for you all, on Mondays, Etan and Devo is live. Going to be at 11 a.m. next week. You can catch the pilot episode on YouTube, and then by the time it's done, you guys can come back and watch the sports show with Cody Mack. Will he break more stools? Who knows?
He broke that stool?
Well, it is Josh's breaking stool, but...
Cobblestone is an Eagles bar, too. Who knew? People are texting me.
I'm a swerve.
Would you hate Kyle McCord? Jordan, would you hate Kyle McCord if he left and went to, Miami?
Let me tack on to your hypothetical. Would he give me his Syracuse branded chips on the way out?
You got him.
Or would he give me more?
Sure.
Yeah, no. Why would I hate him?
Okay, what if he didn't?
Fuck him. We made him.
Wow. Philly's most wanted, breaking out Tiger's Wood dad stories.
No, I can't imagine hating him. He's also just... I'm like a pretty easy guy to make me think you're a good person, so I'll start with that. But, he comes off as a guy who legitimately...
But the average fan doesn't interact with him like you have.
Well, then they should fork over money and go to the dart party.
But and he was here every day.
I'm kidding. I also didn't go to the dart party.
I know who did. Stephen Fonte has dart party money.
What's your new favorite song, Steve?
No.
Don't worry, it's not in the mic, so I'm sure these bad words are gonna... I told you you'd like it.
Hyping the balls. Come on, man. This is a children's show.
I don't think this is in the mics. There's no way that's going into the mics.
Just joking.
So you like it, Steve?
I didn't like it.
So was
the chorus? Can I hear the chorus?
That was the chorus.
Oh, that was the chorus.
So was I correct in saying that I don't think you guys would like
but
it?
I would prefer you leave it up to me.
I didn't,
because you're basically saying you're not cool.
I don't, dude. I can't listen to that song.
Okay.
It's not
cooler
so
than like
jarring.
everybody in this building combined.
It's not so jarring that I would be like, it's disgusting.
So that chorus is the only reason the song is relevant. Like the verses are unlistenable too. I think athletes just like going, I might swerve bend that corner, whoa, in the locker room after a win.
Yeah, it wasn't.
What does it mean? Does it mean something?
It wasn't horrible.
I don't know. Probably like, swerving around a corner. Maybe. I don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is there like
I actually don't know.
Like a different meaning that I'm not aware of?
I don't know. I feel like maybe he's driving a fast car. Does anybody know what the song Tweaker by G3, Jello 3, whatever he's calling himself,
Baby
is
Ball?
about?
That would have been my name if I was him.
What is it?
Lil Ball?
Yeah, G3.
Would you be Lil Ball?
No.
My song would be The Dangler. I was one of the balls.
Oh, are we doing gift exchanger?
Tomorrow, I promise.
Oh, okay.
I'm done. I'm returning everything.
Good. That's about right for you.
We don't have to do this next year.
Mr. Half Birthday's taking his ball and going home. Oh. This is a banger, too. This is a little bit out of our age range, but it's a good one.
I enjoyed this break. It was supposed to be Aretha Franklin today, but
Should have done Baby Shark.
No respect.
I definitely should have done Baby Shark. Because then there wouldn't have been any effort. It's just like open up YouTube and just crank that.
All right, your artist of the day choices. I should probably pull those up.
yeah, it would be a good time. Show's actually over, but yes.
Yeah, who cares? Today is the 13th, so tomorrow would be the 14th.
Correct.
We've got Melissa Etheridge, Madonna, Melissa Etheridge, Madonna, can't use him, Fleetwood Mac, and how about Joe Walsh? Oh, and LL Cool J.
Oh, and LL Cool J?
Yeah, because it's a big day in LL Cool J history.
What happened to him?
He was born as one James Todd Smith in New York, later to be known as Ladies Love. All right, here, this is a good choice because it's also David Grohl's birthday. So David Grohl, so that would be Foo Fighters or Nirvana or LL Cool J.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even a question for me. I'll go LL. Jordan.
I'm trying to figure
David
out
Grohl
what
or
Tweaker
LL?
by LiAngelo Ball is about, and I just got to the bottom of an article, LiAngelo Ball's Tweaker Explained. It didn't explain anything. I'm livid.
That sounds like this show.
Who was the not LL?
David Grohl.
Is he Foo Fighters?
Foo Fighters, Nirvana.
Oh, okay, LL.
LL Cool J in the sweep.
Wait, why was Dave Grohl in there if it's a sweep?
Because the vote was a sweep.
All three of us voted for LL.
LL Cool J's happy birthday.
You voted for him, right?
Yeah.
So did he.
Okay.
And so did I. So it's a sweep.
Oh.
Are we all on something today? I feel like
No, you just said David Grohl or LL, which would mean it came down to 2. So I thought it was.
No, he only gave us 2 choices.
Oh, I thought it was a tiebreak.
He erased the
What
other
happened to
choices.
Melissa?
She got booted.
Yeah.
What about Joe Walsh?
Kicked off the island.
Yeah. It was just 2 choices.
And either way, it would have been a sweep.
Oh my gosh, ruthless.
Yeah, when I saw David Grohl and LL are next level. They are A-listers.
Agreed.
Joe Walsh is probably a B-. Melissa Etheridge is probably low B.
Fleetwood Mac, where's that?
Oh, they're an A+.
Yeah, right?
They're probably the best. And it was because Rumors went number 1, and that album might be that summer thing.
Top 5.
No, album best track list, top to bottom.
It's right up there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good night.
We're done. Cody coming up at 3, Brian at 4. We're back at it noon tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody.